All right, so let's talk about our new ship that was just announced, the Serene Squall. Not just announced. Beck put out the video on Friday. First off, welcome back, Beck. I know she skipped the last one, right? Hammy did the last one, so Beck did this particular video, and we got to learn a few things from it in the process, from the video that she came out with. First off, we anticipated that they were going to be adding a new ship. We've had one every month, every arc, the second month of every arc for the last 5+ arcs, going all the way back to 2024. We've had a new ship released, and this year has been nothing different, right? Of course. So here we are again, month number 8, fourth new ship released, and we expected that if they were going to release a new ship, it might have some type of mining benefit to it, but it wouldn't be like the primary benefit because the building itself already has huge advantages to mining speed and things like that. So what we were expecting that they would do would be something like the NSCA Protector, where it would be good for mining, better than your regular mining ships. And then it would also have fighting bonuses, so it would be good for dual use for grinding the hostiles. That is not what they gave us. They gave us a mining ship. And, obviously there's been some mixed reviews about it. And we can take a look or scroll through the video real quick. I'll just drag this over here. There's a few, for those of you who didn't see it or may not have missed some, picked up some of the Easter eggs. There's a couple of little things in here. I'm going to mute her just so we don't have any copyright issues. So that's what the ship looks like. It looks obviously like a very generic. This is an Orion ship from an Orion cargo freighter that is a Strange New World episode thing. They pirates hijack the Enterprise, and then they have to go steal the ship and take it back. There's a couple other little things that she does mention in here where she talks about. Is she just talking? I thought she showed some more charts. Here we go. So there's the ship. So the ship has hazard resistance, which is going to make it incredibly useful for G4 and G5 players, so they don't have to deal, if you don't have the tokens to go into the token systems, you have no way of dealing with the hazards. Basically, every 45 minutes, you have to repair it. Your miner gets destroyed, and you have to repair it and then send it back out. So in this particular case, you would now have access to a ship that would have that hazard buff on it, so you wouldn't have to worry about that anymore. For the rest of us, and for everybody else in the game, there's a fourth new piece of currency coming out. We've already had common, uncommon, and rare Transogen. Well, now they're adding epic. This particular ship is the only one that will be able to mine the epic. So if you don't have this ship, you cannot mine the raw epic, which means you cannot refine it into the epic currency that you will need to then do the epic turn-ins in the refinery that are being added next month. Unless the things being added to that refinery, your first thought would be, who cares? They have to be good, right? We do get a preview of some of those stuff. It could be pretty decent. There's a few good things in there that may help cut down on other loops. It was also announced that this ship will have free-to-play sourcing. It'll probably be through the Transogen store. You'll probably have to refine materials, that you're already doing now, and do a daily claim on it. It'll take you 100 days, which puts this, if this releases the first week of August, 100 days puts you mid to late November. So just in time for America Thanksgiving. Yay! Wonder if you can refine it without the ship. You mean like if you go around killing everybody else who's OPC and taking their stuff? I want to be inclined to say that without the ship, you won't see the epic refinery, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Or maybe one of the people who've been behind the scenes a little bit might know the answer to that question. But I have a feeling It's probably not going to be something you're going to have access to without the ship. The ship also has an automated defenses ability that's going to make it even harder for people to come by and kill it. Much like we saw with the G3 and G4 miners, where you went through the Bajoran faction store, you got that automated defenses, which had these awesome, cool buffs that worked really well, but only for a limited time. Automated defenses, like for the Horizon here, right? When a player attacks you on a mining node, your combat officer abilities are negated. That's their, oh, your officer abilities are negated. But you get 6,000% increase to base damage, 3 extra shots per round, and they don't get to shoot for the first 8 rounds of combat. So you got a huge damage bump. You got extra shots. I mean, these things typically only have one weapon anyway, so they're only shooting. But now they're basically getting 4 shots per round at 6,000% damage increase, and you get 8 free rounds of just shooting them. So you're going to do 32 shots at 6,000% damage before they even get to shoot you once, right? That's kind of what this was going to be similar to. And they made them for all the ships in G3 and G4 in terms of mining. You had to go through the whole Bajoran store to get them. Some people used them, some people didn't. They only lasted for 3 hours. There was a currency you had to get and activate it with, so it became a bit of a process. I know that some people didn't really enjoy. Also, when someone has this buff active, you can see it. You can see that shielded bonus is right there next to their ship. So you can tell that they're using it and then just choose, oh, I don't want to attack that guy. I'm probably going to get killed. I'll go fight somebody else instead. So the ship will have one of those abilities. If we let this run a little bit longer, provides bonuses to epic transogen mining rate and the loot rewards. Okay, sure. Refine in the Transogen to unlock exclusive rewards, including upgrades for the ship, specialty, ship efficiencies, artifacts, and more. I feel like we do get a look at the store here in just a second. But this is how you're going to upgrade the ship, which again would mean that's why it's tied to it, most likely. And she probably says it. So there you go. You got a new starship research tree, and we're going to see she's going to scroll on over here. And now we get to pause it and look at what we've got here. So you've got a warp range boost for it, apex barrier for it, isolated damage increase for it. So automated defense, crit chance increase. So there's a lot of things here that are going to make this ship very difficult for people to go attack it. With the automated defense, you're going to have an increased damage bonus, increased crit chance. Probably going to negate their ability to hit you for similar, for an X number of rounds. And then it also has regular bonuses to the other older mining types to increase those even faster. So it should make this whole loop and mechanic go much quicker if you can really just stock up on this stuff. If you can mine it lightning fast, like if we think about like how long did it used to take to mine concentrated latinum, even with the Fisha and officers and things like that. Okay, it take me 15, 20 minutes to drain a node. And then we got the Ferengi whip, and it's like, well, now I'm doing it in 7 seconds, and it's basically like the Botany Bay. I don't know if we're going to get those values quite as high, but if the ship has a bonus and Dechak has a bonus, and the building keeps getting higher, and now you get additional research buffs for it as well, you might get it down to where you can, much like we do with mining isogen with like a Nova. I drain a million isogen node in like a minute and a half. Other people do it even faster than that. So that certainly may just make this whole loop. You might just go out for a day or two, or for an hour or two, stock up on all 3 currencies, and you're good. You're done. Depending on what the rates are here. We don't know the exact rates yet. We'll have to wait and see. The ship also has research that improves mining speed of your FKR faction miners, as well as damage of your FKR ships. It has a jump drive, And then we get to the fun stuff. You have a preset here, but then you also have these mining sweeps. And these are the same abilities that we saw in the X-Borg store when freebooters were first released. These sweeps. You had one for Swarm, and then you had them for each of the individual factions. And what those do, in case you forget, they basically make it so you can kill the freebooters at a rate of 10 points each to complete your faction dailies. So instead of having to kill, 25 Romulan hostiles to complete this task, I have to kill 3 freebooters and I'm done. Instead of having to kill 65 swarms a day to complete that, I kill 7 swarms a day because I have this done. And this new ship and this new research queue will make it so you don't have to do your faction mining anymore. So G5, G6 space may get a little less crowded in terms of mining faction materials. You're still going to need it for the refinery, but you also get some for doing your daily turn-ins. So depending on how you want to stock up on that kind of stuff, maybe there's days you just don't feel like doing your mining. Maybe there's days where there's an incursion going on and you can't do that. Well, if I can just send my Serene Squall out for 2 or 3 minutes, mine some Transogen, and complete my faction dailies, at least it, again, cuts down a little bit on that, speeds that loop up a little bit. It is buried in the tree, for sure. It would be better if it was further along, or if it was closer to the beginning of it, right? But it is kind of buried. These are all connected, so you do have to get through this middle line here to be able to get to those sweeps. So it'll take you a little bit of time to do that. The mining rate is mentioned in the video. Does she show an actual graphic of it, or do I have to be listening to hear it? So this is the Serene Squall. We don't know what tier this is, but we can see that it's mining epic at 900,000 an hour. But that's the epic. What we'd like to see is them use it on something else. Oh, wait a minute. We do get to see more about the automated defenses in here. If you get attacked by a Suliban hostile, okay, you get 150,000% damage increase, 5,000% more to shields. So instead of having to ditch and shake your auto grinder, you could potentially just let it keep getting hit. But it does have to be mining. So you have to be on a node mining something and then just let the auto grinders hit you. It'll fill up your cargo faster, but maybe that'll be a thing where it's not a big deal. So there's you're seeing there's like a runner coming and it hits you and it successfully defends itself because you've got your automated defenses cooking. You take a little bit of damage, so maybe that's not necessarily worth doing right away. It does have a jump drive ability, so you don't have to wait for that. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how beneficial it would be to use that while you're mining and whatnot. And we did get a look too here where it was before at its cargo capacity. Now again, we don't know what officers it had on it. I feel like, oh, that's the jump drive. Let's just go back for a second. I think that's 1.4 million. And again, we don't know what tier this thing is. Somebody in chat saying it's tier 5, which I guess seems reasonable. So 1.4 million. Again, if it's an 800K node, you're going to go through that pretty quickly. But also bear in mind that this doesn't have probably a mining crew on it. So you can definitely get that upgraded as well, with other bonuses and things, to cargo capacity with officers. That'll make that a little more usable. So overall, so far, it seems like it's going to be very good at what it does, but are you involved and engaged enough in the loop that you care about it, right? Are you doing enough with the common, uncommon, and rare in terms of pulling your artifact shards or the new artifacts, the mastery ones, that you need to speed that along? That you're going to be, okay, this is going to make my life easier for this first half of the stuff we've been doing for month one? Or is it solely based on what you're doing on month two? So there's your epic. You get 25 per pull. You're right. It does say tier 5 right there. So let me get this straight. You do an epic pull, you get 25 per day with just a single chest pull. To do your strong box, it costs you 26 per day. So you can't even do one pull the first day. Now, granted, this is the tier 5 values, right? Of course, this is the tier 5 values. So maybe tier 1, they're a little different. But literally, if it's you're getting 25 and it's costing you 26, it's already a smack in the face. Now, you get uncommon and rare from here as well. So that might also cut down things for you a little bit because now you don't necessarily need to spend time mining uncommon and rare to do refinery pulls. Because if you're just doing an epic pull, you're getting those benefits as well. So again, trying to save you time. You are getting speed ups. No preview as to whether G6 players based on ops level will get speed ups for Sigma, or if it'll be tier based to the ship. However, there is something that happens later in the video that makes me think it might be tier based, and that would be very disappointing. You've got Transogen Dust, though, guaranteed, which will help very much with the research that's supposed to be coming along, right? All the Transogen research that you're going to need. It says in the vid it's generation level, so the tier of the ship. That's where I was leaning towards because there's something else coming up here in just a second where she talks about that. There's also, it's this. Strange New World Black Ops Chapel shards available at tier 10 plus. Tier 10 usually being the cutoff where you have to move things into where it becomes now a G6 ship for those generational ships. So this right here definitely leads me to believe that you will not get Sigma speed ups until you get that ship up to tier 10 or higher, which again incentivizes you to want to buy those upgrade packs, doesn't it? Also, Easter egg. I guess we know what officer is going to be in this month. It's Strange New World Black Ops Chapel. What episode was she in? What is she doing during that whole kind of stuff? Black Ops Chapel. She was in like the spacesuit and she was doing all the fighting and battling with Mbenga. The two of them were running around. So I think you just have a sneak preview of who your two new officers are next month. Black Ops Chapel, Black Ops Mbenga. Spoiler alert, Easter egg right there in the video. Who's the third? I don't know if there'll be a third. It might just be the two officers. If they're going to be part of a new group, like a mining strike team or something like that, maybe it'll just be the two of them because they'll expect you to use Dechok in the third slot. And you'll use these two as your strike team miners on your Serene Squall. And then you'll put Dechok in the third slot to increase your mining rate. And maybe that's where it's sort of designed as just like a little mining strike team defense booster. So then between that and your automated defenses, you're even stronger. So that all seems pretty useful. No Spock's girlfriend. T'Pring's in the Syndicate faction, the Syndicate store. Once you get your Syndicate XP to Ops 56, you start sourcing T'Pring shards. But there's a nice little Easter egg there. And now we get a preview as to what else is going on in this refinery. And here we go, where it's effectively trying to cut down and or replace a lot of your other loops. So if you are still working on ship parts and things like that, or refineries, this is going to drastically cut those down. Gorn, Revenant, Silence, Protector, all of the previous ships. I don't know if we have Relativity is there. The Cube, do we get a Reliant one? No. I think that's all we're looking at there, are just those. So this will, again, help you accelerate your growth on some of those older ships as well. However, there's, of course, is going to be a choice because it's probably all going to use the same currency. And now you have to prioritize. Or now you have to spend more time doing it so you can make sure you're doing double pulls of the Epic. So that way you can still get the strong box to upgrade your ship as well as buy some of the other stuff. Or are you just buying the upgrade packs to upgrade the ship and then you can spend the currency on other things? I'm sure that's what they're hoping, is that you'll just upgrade the ship and buy a bunch of packs and get it to the higher tiers and then not have to worry about it. You've got new artifact choice tokens as well. Excuse me. That'll help you get more direct sourcing of a lot of your older artifacts. So you don't have to just specifically use the older RNG-based pack pulls. It's more targeted. And that's what they've really been doing with a lot of the last year or so, between the new officer depot tokens and some of the other refineries and things that we've gotten. Have had more individual pulls, as opposed to, hey, here's a pack, here's a bundle, it's got 12 things in it, good luck, hope you get the thing that you want. Now it's being a little more flexible, giving people a little bit more choices in terms of how they want to accelerate their account. So those are all good things. It is certainly a bit of a one-trick pony ship, but that pony seems to be a good one. And I think that's the end of the video there. So thanks, Beck, for doing this, putting this content out. Thank you for putting it out on Friday before ARC launch. So we have something to talk about all weekend, and ARC Fall videos on Monday leading up to get, the word out to people about how this new thing works. How we doing on views here? Got 263 likes, got 15,000 views. The channel's got 44,000 subscribers, so only a third of the people actually subscribe to the Star Trek Fleet Command YouTube channel watch the video. And probably, what's this, about 10% of the active game population? Maybe even less than that, because we're supposed to be over 200,000 players, right? Even though some of them are low-level accounts. Some people just don't watch YouTube videos. But only 15,000 people watched it in the first day and a half, 2 days, because it was released on Friday. So we're coming up on 2 days now. So either people got the notes from a friend or just, listened to other content creators talking about it. But there you go. Good pause phase, too. So that's kind of where the thing is on the new ship. It seems like it's going to make the Transogen mechanic more manageable. And it's going to give you some access and relief to older pieces of content to start phasing some of those out, or at least cut down on your grind time a little bit with some of those older loops. But without actually seeing the values and what the costs are associated with everything, it's hard to make a determination as to whether or not it's going to replace them completely. Or is it just more of something where, okay, every once in a while I grab this and then I can skip a day of that. And then is it really helping you? Is it motivating you to get the thing because it takes this off your plate? Probably not. But it's at least another small little perk is okay, maybe if it saves me an hour a week because 1 or 2 days less I have to do this content because I'm getting some of the materials also from the Transogen refinery. That's certainly an extra perk. But I don't know that that's motivating anybody to go out and like, oh, well, it'll save me an hour from, killing silent hostiles. So that's cool. Yeah, I'll be sure to spend $100 and buy this ship just so I can do that. Like, I don't know that that's a motivating factor for anybody. And I have a feeling some people will certainly still buy this ship because there is a benefit to it. And it is exclusive epic material content, new access to sourcing other things free to play through those refineries. Is it going to sell 10 or 15,000 copies like a lot of the other specialty ships do in their first 2 days? Probably not. I have a feeling that what we're going to see, if I had to pick a number, I would say 7,500. I think 7,500 is a good ballpark for how many they'll sell in the first 2 days, and I look forward to seeing Chrono tracking that. I think they'll say that underperformed compared to all the other specialty ships, but it's a minor. How well do you expect it to perform? If you expect to sell 15,000 of those, like the way you sold 15,000 GS31s or protectors or revenants, I think you're just setting the wrong expectations for yourself. You want to put a poll on that? Higher or lower? Okay, let's put a poll on that. Let's start a prediction. Let's manage poll. New poll. Will the Serene Squall sell more or less than 7,500 units in 2 days? In 2 days. More than 7,500 sold. Less than 7,500 sold. We'll put that poll up there for 5 minutes. Give you guys a chance to vote on that. It'd be great if nobody bought it. That's not going to happen, Tricky. Players are definitely going to buy it. Especially, I think, the G4 and G5 players who don't have access to hazard research. I think this is targeted more for them. I don't think you're. See, it's a weird thing because your G6 players tend to be more of your active spenders. That's how they got the G6, both by buying stuff along the way and getting there faster. And I don't know that this ship is going to be as interesting and appealing for them. I think it's going to be very appealing for G4. And some of your lower end G5 players may also find this appealing as well. If you're getting closer through like if you're 58 or 60, probably not going to want to buy this ship because you're like, I'm just going to get to 61 in a little bit and I'm going to get a Nova or a Selkie, and then I'll have some more hazard resistance, so this stuff won't be as challenging anymore. If you're 52 and you're like, my Nova really just keeps dying and I only don't really get a whole lot of cargo out of it, maybe this new ship is more appealing for you. And if you're still in the 40s, this ship definitely has a lot more appeal. The question is how many of those players are spenders, and would they prioritize spending $100 on this ship versus something else they would want to buy? If there's someone who only buys, 2 or 3, $100 pack a month, is this what I want to spend my monthly allowance on? If there's someone who only buys, 2 or 3 things a year, and they're like, is this what I'm spending my $100 on? I don't know. I don't know. So Tricky doesn't really care about that. A lot of people this arc has fallen flat on for sure. Is this going to pick it up and make it better? I think it's going to sort of smooth out the edges on it. And again, until we see what the actual costs and values are of some of these things in here, we can't say for certain how well it'll be received. So We'll have to see what the results of the poll so far. It's kind of leaning towards more than 7,500 being sold. 10-6 right now. Still have a minute or two left on that. But the automated defense action of it makes it a little bit closer to the protector than just a standard mining ship, because at least it can fend off being attacked by the auto hostiles and being attacked by other players a little bit. So it's a little bit more than just a miner. It's not going to, like a lot of other miners have uses outside of the content. You know, you can use your Meridian or your Amalgam for like actual mining on other stuff. This one probably doesn't have that type of benefit to it. I mean, maybe we'll have to see exactly what the mining rate on it is. Maybe you can use it for just regular G4 or G5 materials. Maybe it'll have a better warp range than some of your ships, and can get to some of those farther systems. The G3, G4 auto defenses aren't that good. That's very true. Not that good, because especially because of the PvP level we were looking at earlier today, where if a 60 can hit a 39, even with automated defenses, you're not, you're going to put a little more damage on them, give them a little bit more of a repair build before, they kill you and send you home. Or at least give you a repair bill at all instead of just killing you on turn one. But yeah, that's not going to stop a lot of people. And if a 70 is hitting a 46, I think is as far as they can go down to. Even with automated defenses on your Selkie, on your Serene Squall, probably not stopping them from killing you. Probably not giving them much of a repair bill either, but maybe if it stops the players who are in closer to your level, you'll at least feel a little bit more value out of that. Scratching the paint? Yeah, scratching the paint. All right, final total for the poll. 59% said yes, it will sell more than 7,500 in the first 2 days. 41% said no. So we'll have to wait and see if the ship's released on Tuesday with the ARC, or if they hold it back a day or two before making it available in the store. Most likely to be for sale on Tuesday. So when we have Thursday stream, Chrono can pull some numbers and hopefully we'll have some graphics we can look at Thursday evening and find out just what's going on there. But thank you guys for participating. That's always fun. Restrus, you were gone almost 2 years. You're catching up on your specialty ships and artifacts, so the Transogen loop is good for you. For someone coming back to the game after a long extended break, that can certainly be another added benefit and advantage. There aren't a lot of people who take that much time off and come back. Some people certainly will skip an arc or two, like, hey, I need a month or two off. Work's been kind of crazy, or the kids, blah 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 blah. So it could have some value there, helping people catch up a little bit for sure. That's a very long period of time. Welcome back. And yeah, I guess we'll just wait and see how this whole thing goes. Retro be more interested to seeing how many people buy tier up packs. That'll be an interesting thing too. What's the value of the tier up pack? If you spend $100, are you getting it to tier 5, or are you only getting it to tier 4.5? I had to. I'm sorry, but I had to put that out there. But just be mindful. Look before you buy. Do the math. Go to stfc.space. Look up the upgrade costs. Go to Spock's Club. Look up the upgrade costs, whichever one's updated first. And figure out, hey, if I buy this pack, it's giving me X number of parts. What is that going to get me? That's going to get me to tier 4. That's going to get me to tier 5. Whatever it's going to be. then evaluate, is that worth my additional cost? Is it worth, spending? I paid $100 for the ship. If I pay another $100 for the pack, what's that going to do to my refineries? What's that going to do to my daily life? Time commitment, and how much is that going to help improve things? And just don't take anything at face value. Do the research, do the math yourself, or you know, wait for the spreadsheet that Jules and Blue and Quasel and the other guys will put out, which will probably be out by Tuesday evening of Arc Launch. By 7, 8 p.m., I'm sure there'll be a spreadsheet out somewhere that'll have at least a few values filled in so you can kind of get an idea of what's going on there. Let the other suckers be the guinea pigs. Don't you be the guinea pig. Let them buy it. Let them upgrade it. See what the values are and go from there.